prices that I was talking about here are probably too low. The one thing you need to, you need to never forget that at the end of the day you need to have a profit. You need to make sure to make enough money so you can pay for your guys. Important number that I want to mention here that I think most of you may even know is that a large company can only make profit if it makes a revenue of about 100,000 per employee. Especially in our high-tech business. I mean, for some businesses that do products, this can be different. But for us, we all need to realize that, okay, if you want to pay the three of you, you need to make at least 200K per year just to keep your head above the water. If you make a little bit more, then that's great. This is, for small companies, it can be a little bit lower, but that's what you'll be spending. So you want to maximize profits, but you want to be cheaper than the competition, maybe. I think one of you, yeah, so you, you guys with the agile stuff. You, right? Just you.
No, so also in the back.
Back there. Yeah, that's good. All right, so the three of you, one thing that I saw also in your product definition is you're still selling it as if to replace the paper tool and saying that that's it. But I see it much more as also a luxury thing. Like, you're not selling second-class plane tickets here. You guys are selling first-class plane tickets. Getting that big screen is sort of a compliment to your development team. They have achieved something. They brought out a version earlier than expected, or they finished all the features. And now, as a reward, they get this beautiful new big screen that they can. So that's something that I think is really important. Right? You don't want to be cheaper than the competition. You want to be much more expensive than them. Well, of course, define your sales volume. You saw that happening here. Achieve profits, large market. Well, you still define your own objectives. So these are different objectives that you could have. And of course, at the end of the day, satisfactory return on your capital. So here's some examples. I think, I already mentioned Legasite before. Here you see my pricing model. I already told you. Let's see if I can enlarge this nicely. Not sure if you can. Very good. It's better on your screen. So the mistake that I made here with our pricing model was that everything up from 600 members will be paying $75 a month, and these are the only customers we have. So we obviously misinterpreted the market, and now we have to wait another year before we can change our price model, because that's what we promised in our terms of use. So we will then, hopefully enlarge this and probably throw all these out or have these as free. So that's a nice example of where we screwed up. There's of course Dropbox. Well, again, to me this almost seemed like feel the wind type of pricing, but they must have thought about this very well. I think Dropbox is the quickest growing startup I've seen in a very long time. Quite interesting as a company. So you see everything free, then you have the Pro, $9.99 a month, and of course for teams, so for companies, and then you can spend a lot more. Another example, Basecamp. They used to have all kinds of pricing. There we go. So Basecamp, again, these are all, of course, SaaS products. For some of you, this will look very different. I'm expecting the Linky guys to be, well, it may even be, price per call. You already thought about this, up to 5,000, up to 10,000 calls, etc. That's not a bad idea. But of course, for you guys, Tyson and favorite, for you it can be completely different. Maybe it's even, you sell each project with a separate price, the individual one. I'm a customer of Lighthouse also as a ticketing system. Also fairly simple. Pretty cool how they did this, because I'm currently at the cheapest plan, so I'm in the bronze plan, but I'm really feeling the limits. Like every day I'm thinking, I want to add another member, but I don't want to pay 50 a month, so I'm constantly throwing out members, and maybe once every 2 or 3 months I have to think about this again and sort of think, do I want to reinvest? So they did that really smartly, I think. All right, so there's a lot of guides on pricing. There's the Don't Just Roll the Dice book. It's a free ebook that you can all download. I recommend reading it because it's a lot of fun. It's about SaaS mostly, so it's fun to read. Well, here you see some good, one thing that I never quite realized how important that is, but to change a business model completely, so to go from hiring videos in a video store to buying a video on iTunes, or even getting something like Netflix, or Spotify is another example of this as well. It really you have to change the market completely. Spotify changed market dynamics in the fact that I still remember in '98, I had a big collection of CDs. You saw my stacks of CDs that I showed earlier. I had a big collection like that as well. And I spent maybe 40 guilders a week on a new CD because I was working as a student, so I could buy the CDs constantly. But you know, to go from 40 guilders a week to 10 euros a month on Spotify and then having all the music I could ever dream of is completely, it really changes market dynamics. And to make such a big change, you really have to think about it. So you two have to think, you know, are we just replacing the status quo, or are we going to really make a market revolution, or, well, how do you determine pricing? For you guys, there isn't even pricing except for the company you're dealing with. So each project there, I think, will be customized for it, at least in the beginning. Yeah, so you also need to take a look at what kind of markets you're looking at. Is your demand, is it elastic or inelastic? Does your price determine the demand, or you know, if your price is very low, will people sign up sooner, yes or no? Those kinds of questions. Well, placement, this is of course about channels. How do you get your product to the right people? Yeah, I think all of you will have to think about these different channels. Again, I look also here. So do I want to sell to schools? Do I want to sell to publishers? Why would I want to call up a publisher and go cold calling them? Maybe they have their contacts who know all these publishers. So they're consultancy firms that have done business for all 20. Well, those are the guys I want to call and ask, you know, can you do this for me? And you get 20%. Or can I pay you by the hour? So you know, just do this for me. So here you see some channels, manufacturer to wholesaler to retail to consumer, traditional, very direct manufacturer to consumer. I love that image of going to the BMW factory and putting down 50 grand or 60 grand and driving off my own BMW. So, well, it's up to you, of course, how you want to do this. And we have this, we use the software supply network for this. You will see more of these pictures later. And here you can really see, okay, where does your product end up? In this case, you have, for instance, an ERP product designer. They design it, they sell it to them, they sell it to them. Some implementer then sells it again to the customer. And at the end of the day, a money flow goes all the way back. But you could also have the target client going to the customer. So in this case, again, you could have you know, different lines going to different places. And you have to draw this for your product as well. You could even do it in the marketing plan. I even recommend it a little bit. Well, promotion, of course, well, marketing is one of the hardest things in the world. Getting yourself to get the world to know you. I mean, we fortunately have an expert with us. We have Hugo. This is probably all about marketing, so he can maybe help us a little bit. So 8 steps in that: advertising campaign, research, setting out your aims, budgeting, choice of media, choice of actors, design and wording, coordination, and test results. As simple as that, like you would do any type of research project. Well, there's of course some new trends going on in this area. You see more and more that, I really like this term inbound marketing. I'll talk about that, well, I don't think we have time now, but I want to talk about it later. Inbound marketing is a concept of, you don't want to ram your product down people's throats. You want people to think about your product as soon as they are thinking, okay, I have this problem. So this inbound marketing concept was, I stole that from HubSpot.com, very big company in the States now. Their idea is that you should never get on the phone to just cold call customers while they're at dinner with their kids, because they're going to hate you. They should be online thinking, what do I need? I need golf supplies. And as soon as they type in, or maybe even a more complex problem where they think, okay, my golf stroke is not improving and I think it has something to do with the material. As soon as they type that in, they should come to an article about golf strokes and what type of material can help you. And at the very bottom it should say, if you'd like to buy something along those lines, click here. So sort of as people are looking for it and thinking, okay, now as they're being sort of tempted, they're sort of funneled into your product or into your web shop or into your site. And I think that's a really great way about thinking about marketing. I mean, just doing the old, you know, yelling at people, jumping out of the supermarket out of some big box and saying, oh, you should buy our detergent. I'm no longer sensitive to that. I'm not sure if you are, but we probably are a little bit sensitive to it because marketing companies are still marketing the hell out of everything. I just said BMW cars for a reason. I could have said Mercedes, but somehow BMW was the first thing to pop up. Well, I like this idea. Maybe you can have 2 or 3 or 4 marketing campaigns in your marketing plan as well. For some of you, the marketing campaign is going to be very specific. So it's just going to be word of mouth or LinkedIn, or it's going to be very, you know, very targeted. Whereas for others, it's going to be actual real marketing. Where, you know, Frappit, you guys just want to get to be known to by everybody. Thijs of Frederik, you wouldn't really be helped with a news item on the nuclear, but much more with informatie professional or well, one of those magazines. All right, have we had all the P's? Yes, we've had all the P's. All right, we'll talk a little bit about business models later, but after the break. But then first we'll have Joris to talk, give you a quick update on the project management tools because that can help you also today. All right, let's have a quick break. Be back.